We are live from the Horseshoe Bend International Raceway for the 9th race of the Nascar Thenix Hot Wheels Cup Series. We are about an hour southwest from Salt Lake City, Utah, at this brand new racetrack where these drivers will have a tough challenge to try to win here today. Let's take a look at some of your drivers to watch, presented by Berger Tires. Alex Bowman looks like a strong contender here today at the Horseshoe Bend International Raceway. He starts on pole. He had one of the fastest laps in qualifying and almost set the track record here at Horseshoe Bend. He's looking for his first win of the season to punch his ticket into the playoffs. A driver who looks very strong here today is Corey LaJoie. He starts 4th at Horseshoe Bend, his highest starting position in his 3 starts this season. He's had a really good season so far with Go Fast Racing and is hoping to keep the momentum up with a good finish here today. Chase Elliott's in need of a good performance today as he starts 6th here at the Horseshoe Bend. Now he needs to make his way inside the top 20 in points to make it into the playoffs after winning at Dover. Can he get a good result here today? And finally, Jimmy Johnson, your defending NASCAR Thenix Hot Wheels Cup Series champion, starts 19th today and is 7 points below the playoff cut line. He has not won a race this season. Could today be the day that he gets his win and potentially gets his way into the playoffs? Now let's take a look at our GoPro on-track car at this brand new racetrack. So this is a pretty good sized racetrack. It's just under a half mile as they will go down the long straightaway into the fat track where there's a little bit of a merger where cars can have a little bit of trouble, then they come around a little bit of a curve and then back down to the finish line. Now it's a trackside for the command to fire engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines have been fired, and we are ready to go racing here today from the Horseshoe Bend International Raceway. Your pace car driver today is Good Wrench Cup Series. He is driving in the 2019 Ford Mustang. Now, if you would like to be the pace car driver for the next race, be sure to find Terry's RV somewhere located around the track. Now, let's take a look at some of your race facts for today's race. There are 32 cars in the race today. There's a ton of cars going to the rear today. The 77 of Ross Chastain, the 9 of Chase Elliott, the 8 of Tyler Reddick, the 12 of Ryan Blaney, the 28 of Joseph West, the 18 car, and the 95 car, all because of inspection, and the 20 car of Eric Jones because of an engine change. And after this race, there will only be one race left, with Indianapolis being the final race in the regular season. We are now ready for segment number 1 to begin. In row 1 is the 88 car of Alex Bowman and the 43 car of Bubba Wallace. In row 2, the 17 car of Chris Buescher and the 41 car of Cole Custer. In row 3, the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr. and the 81 car of Eddie Gallagher. The rounding out the field is the 37 car of Ryan Preece and the 8 car of Tyler Reddick, who will take home the first segment win. Cole Custer is out of this race after a scary incident. After it looked like he hit the middle of the merger, we'll have to take a look at the replay to see what happened. But let's go back to review the last 3 laps. Lap 1, Alex Bowman gets a huge lead, and Chris Buescher comes up and passes for second. But watch Cole Custer here. He's going to push Buescher aside and take Buescher out of a top 2 starting position. That's a shame for Chris Buescher, as it looked like he had a fast car. Then heading to lap 2, Bowman gets another great jump, and he looks to be as the contender to get this win here today, as Cole Custer would continue to hold second place with Bubba Wallace in third. Then heading to lap 3, this is where things get crazy here. Alex Bowman gets another great jump, and then Bubba Wallace gets into the corner of Cole Custer, and that sends Cole Custer flying through the air. We hope Cole Custer's okay, as he's been taken to the infield care center right now. But here's a better, slower angle of it, as Cole Custer just loses all momentum heading onto the fat track as Bubba Wallace just turned him and he sends flying. And it looked like Bubba Wallace almost got on top of Chris Buescher and Tyler Reddick. Oh man, that was a crazy wreck. And we hope Cole Custer's okay. I believe he is in the infield care center right now. Let's take a look at it from the GoPro camera right now. And yeah, you're going to see it just all haywire goes loose as Bubba Wallace will be able to continue. Cole Custer will not be able to continue as we have one lap left in segment number 1. Alex Bowman dominates segment number 1, but these 3 drivers end up having a tough luck after a last lap crash. Let's take a look at the replay to see kind of what happened here. It looked like it might have started with Eddie Gallagher and Chris Buescher here. Oh, it looked like Truex got sideways. That causes Eddie Gallagher to hit the merger part, and that brings around Ryan Preece as well. So tough break for those guys. Alex Bowman finishes first, Chris Buescher second, Tyler Reddick third, Bubba Wallace fourth, Martin Truex Jr. fifth, Eddie Gallagher sixth, Ryan Preece seventh, and Cole Custer in eighth. We now move on to segment number 2. In row 1 is the 24 car of William Byron and the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. In row 2 is the 4 car of Kevin Harvick and the 21 car of Matt DiBenedetto. Row 3, the 14 car of Clint Bowyer and the 28 car of Joseph West. Then rounding out the field is the 18 car of Kyle Busch and the 95 car of Christopher Bell. Denny Hamlin takes home the segment win as he does a pretty good job in this segment. As we take a look at the replay, lap 1, William Byron was able to hold the lead through the first 2 laps before Denny Hamlin was able to take it in lap 3. So lap 1, nothing much happened, kind of a stack up near the back of the pack, however, and that kind of stacked the field up. Lap 2, Hamlin gets a good run, but Byron's able to get a good push from Harvick to take the lead and lead lap 2. Then heading to lap 3 is where Hamlin would pass William Byron for the lead, and Hamlin would not turn back. He'd lead the last 2 laps as he gets a good push from Harvick to propel him in front of Byron and get a pretty sizable lead. Looks like Matt DiBenedetto fell off the track on that race. So then heading to the final lap, William Byron trying to make a pass on Hamlin. They're even through the merger. But then here comes Byron trying to make a pass. He gets a little bit too far to the left and gets stuck on the merger. Harvick will end up passing for a second. A tough break for William Byron as we take a look from the finish line camera. And yeah, you can see Hamlin had a great lead. And Byron had a ton of speed coming, but he just hit the middle straight on. And that's nothing much he can do there. Tough break for William Byron. As Denny Hamlin's going to finish first, Kevin Harvick second, William Byron third, Clint Bowyer fourth, Kyle Busch fifth, Joseph West sixth, Matt DiBenedetto seventh, and Christopher Bell in eighth. We now move on to segment number 3. In row 1 is the 42 car of Matt Kenseth and the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. In row 2, the 10 car of Eric Almirola and the 35 car of Daniel Suarez. In row 3, the 08 car of Kyle Larson and the 77 car of Ross Chastain, who had a drop to the rear. Same for the 9 car of Chase Elliott and the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney is out of this race, and this has not been the season Ryan Blaney has wanted. As we'll take a look at the replay here. A tough break for Ryan Blaney. Here's lap 1. Jimmy Johnson, looking like in championship self from last year, taking the lead from Matt Kenseth. And that was a good pass for the lead. But then heading to lap 2, we'll watch that 35 car. He has a win at the All-Star race. He's not in the playoffs. But it would be a heck of a story if Daniel Suarez could get that car, could win here today and lock himself into the playoffs. With what a power move on the outside. A great pass by Daniel Suarez puts him in position for the last 2 laps. Where in the world did that 77 car come from? Ross Chastain puts on the show in those last few laps as watch this pass on Jimmy Johnson Chastain makes. He has a heck of a move and passes for the lead, and he's able to hold it. As what a run for that 77 car, having to come from the back. He's worked his way up, himself back up to take the lead, and now he gets another playoff point with the playoffs. And this is a tough break for Daniel Suarez, as he would end up falling off the track and moving him toward the back of the pack. Tough break for him, as he will probably not make the playoffs anymore unless he wins next week at Indianapolis. Chastain's going to finish first, Johnson second, Matt Kenseth third. Chase Elliott works his way up to fourth, Kyle Larson up to fifth, Daniel Suarez sixth, Eric Almirola seventh, and then Ryan Blaney, who wrecked out earlier, in eighth. We now move to the final segment, segment number 4. In row 1 is the 32 car of Corey LaJoie with his best starting position ever, next to Daniel Hemrick in the 31. Row 2, 6 car of Ryan Newman and the 3 car of Austin Dillon. Then in row 3 is the 1 car of Kurt Busch, the 22 car of Joey Logano. Then rounding out the field is the 2 car Brad Keselowski and the 20 of Eric Jones. Corey LaJoie takes home the segment win with a pretty good performance by that 32 Go Fast Racing team. There was only one time where Daniel Hemrick, that 31 car, had a chance to catch him, but he ultimately was not able to pass, as there was lap 1 where LaJoie was able to hold off. Everybody looked like there was a little bit of traffic cone mess in the back that sent both Kurt Busch and Brad Keselowski to the rear. Then heading to lap 2, it looked like Hemrick had the good jump, but he ultimately would not be able to. Austin Dillon tried passing for second, but Hemrick was able to retake his teammate for second. Then heading to lap 3, this is where Hemrick had a chance to pass the 32 car with a great push by Ryan Newman. LaJoie was able to storm back through there, but watch Hemrick, he almost was able to pass LaJoie in the merger area, but he ultimately could not do it. So heading to the final lap, LaJoie was able to hold off Daniel Hemrick in that 31 car to take home the segment win. And yeah, the future looks bright for that 32 Go Fast Racing team, as this is their 4th race in the NASCAR at the next NAHWCS Cup Series. A really good performance for that team, as Corey LaJoie finishes first, Daniel Hemrick second, Austin Dillon third, Ryan Newman fourth, Kurt Busch in fifth, Brad Keselowski sixth, Eric Jones seventh, and then Joey Logano rounds out the field in eighth. We are now ready for the Constellation race, where the top 2 drivers will try to fight for a spot in the Challenger race. As we got leading the field down is the 43 car of Bubba Wallace and the 9 car of Chase Elliott. Which two drivers will claim those spots? A big wreck for Chase Elliott, and this is not what the number 9 driver needed. He was below the top 20 points, and after winning at Dover, he needs to be inside the top 20 if he wants to make the playoffs. This will not help his case. As we take a look at the replay, he tried to block Bubba Wallace, who had a run, but there was no room, and he ends up getting flipped over. A tough break for the 9 team, as they were really hoping that this would be a race where they could gain a lot of points. Now they're in need a lot more points if they want to make it into the playoffs at Indianapolis. They'll need a really good run. As we try to take a closer look, there was no room, and he just kind of merged over with thinking there was room, but ultimately there was none. So we have still 3 laps remaining. Joey Logano is heading to the garage area after, I don't know really what happened, but he got stuck over by the curb and is out of the Constellation race. It's been a tough race for Penske, as Ryan Blaney left the race earlier due to a wreck, and now Joey Logano will join him in the garage. And I think he just lost momentum. There looked like a lot of checking up in the front, and that kind of slowed down the 22 car of Logano. Newman leads with 2 laps to go. Clint Bowyer and Matt DiBenedetto will move on to the Challenger race after it looked like Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman had a chance at moving on, but ultimately they would not have enough speed to be able to get to the finish line, as Kurt Busch looked to lead lap 3, and then heading to the final lap, it would end up being Matt DiBenedetto and Clint Bowyer making a move to keep in front of Kurt Busch and holding on to move on to the Challenger race, as Clint Bowyer and Matt DiBenedetto did a great job in that race to avoid trouble. Bowyer first, DiBenedetto finishes second, Newman third, Kyle Busch fourth, Kyle Larson fifth, Kurt Busch sixth, Bo Wallace seventh, Joey Logano eighth, and Chase Elliott in ninth. We now move on to the Challenger race, which will be led down by the 31 car of Daniel Hemrick and the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Now the top 4 drivers here will move on to the final stage and contend for the victory here at Horseshoe Bend. Which 4 drivers will do that? Daniel Hemrick will win the Challenger race, but Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Jimmy Johnson will join him in the final stage as we take a look at the replay. It looked like Hemrick was going to dominate this race, and he did for most of the laps, but he would end up being passed by Harvick in the middle 2 laps here. I think he passes him here. as it looked like a strong run. As also Chris Buescher was sitting in 4th, he would just miss out on a spot in the final stage. Yeah, a great pass on the outside by Kevin Harvick that puts Harvick in position to try to win, to try to sweep away the rest of the laps in the Challenger race, as he would be able to hold off Hemrick on lap 3 as they were side by side with a good push from Jimmy Johnson as Hemrick almost lost control of that car. He was able to get it back together, and then heading into the final lap, a great run from that outside lane propels them to the lead, and that would be how it would end. Harvick would fall back to 4th, holding on just for dear life, as Chris Buescher finished 9th. Very close call for Kevin Harvick. Daniel Hemrick finishes 1st, Johnson 2nd, Matt Kenseth finishes 3rd, Kevin Harvick 4th, Chris Buescher 5th, Austin Dillon 6th, Clint Bowyer 7th, Tyler Reddick 8th, William Byron falls back to 9th, and Matt DiBenedetto in 10th. We are now ready for the final stage to begin. In row 1 is the 88 car of Alex Bowman and the 77 car of Ross Chastain. In row 2, the 32 car of Corey LaJoie and the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. In row 3 is the 31 car of Daniel Hemrick and the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. Then rounding out the field is the 42 car of Matt Kenseth and the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. Which driver will take home the win at Horseshoe Bend? Dominant performance by Alex Bowman as he punches his first win in the 2021 campaign. A great job by Alex Bowman as he dominated this race. As you saw that first lap, he led that lap by almost 3 car lengths. That shows how strong that nationwide Chevy number 88 is. And that will punch Alex Bowman's ticket into the playoffs, and he will not have to worry about any more point situations after Indianapolis' next race. As Ross Chastain came close on lap 2, but it was all Alex Bowman. And heading to lap 3, we think Chastain tried to put up a fight here, but Alex Bowman again, he was just too strong, had the fastest car in practice, got the pole in qualifying. He looked like one of the strongest contenders in this race, and no one came close to catching him. That's how strong that 88 car was this week. It's great to see the 88 car back on track after one win last season after a disappointing 10th place in the season standings last year. And this should be a big confidence booster heading into the playoffs next for the 88 car of Alex Bowman. Here are your final results. Alex Bowman 1st, Ross Chastain 2nd, Denny Hamlin 3rd, Matt Kenseth 4th, Corey LaJoie finishes 5th, his best performance ever. The 48 car of Jimmy Johnson 6th, Daniel Hemrick 7th, and Kevin Harvick in 8th. Alex Bowman celebrates his victory here at Horseshoe Bend as we take a look at your race results from the Sarah Designs 400 at Horseshoe Bend. Alex Bowman was a class of the field as he dominated this entire race, finishing 1st. Corey LaJoie with his best performance in the Nascar Hot Wheels Cup Series with a 5th place performance here today. Jimmy Johnson looks like his championship self from last season with a 6th place performance here. Some other notable performances: Chris Buescher with a 9th place performance, a solid run for the 17 team, and your points leader Austin Dillon, a 10th place performance. Not what he wanted to see, but it's a solid day nonetheless. As we go down to some of the drivers in the back, Team Penske struggled with Keselowski 24th, Joey Logano 20th, and Ryan Blaney dead last. So that Penske struggling so far. I don't know if they'll have a chance at trying to make the playoffs. As here are your point standings with only one race left to go. Clint Boyer currently up 2 spots over Jimmy Johnson at that playoff cut line for now, as we got 6 drivers locked in with a win, 7 pending. Chase Elliott can rake it inside the top 10 or top 20, as some drivers that look, I mean, no one's really safe. Bubba Wallace is 24 above, Cole Custer 16, Kevin Harvick 15, Byron is 12 above, Hamlin 12 above, and then Boyer's 2 above. So if a bad race happens at Indianapolis next week, then those drivers could fall out of the top 20, as Newman, Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Chris Buescher all are looking to pounce to get inside the top 12. And here are your top 21st through 39th points. Most of these guys are going to need in a must-win situation. Elliott is 19 points below the 20th place. He needs to get in 20th place if he wants to make the playoffs. But again, drivers like Logano, Blaney, DiBenedetto, Kyle Busch, Eddie Gallagher, and Daniel Suarez, who had a chance at a win here today, all will need to win at Indianapolis in the next race if they want to make the playoffs, as Indianapolis is going to be a crucial race for some of these guys on the cut line and guys down here as they try to make a last chance at the playoffs. So thank you so much for watching from the Horseshoe Bend International Speed Raceway. Again, the next race will be at Indianapolis, and there should be an update video about this channel coming soon. I'm Aiden Orth, signing off.